So 50 minutes. Let me wait just a few seconds. All right, great. Hi, and welcome to the Thinking Out Loud podcast, a show with meaningful conversations with non-native speakers of English. My name is Jędrek,
My name is Masha.
and we are two English teachers who
Fight with the elements, mosquitoes. What's the weather like in your neck of the woods?
it's beautiful. I think
It's
25
not too hot.
degrees. Not too hot yet. This is something that is really I would say strange in the context of the past few years, because by June there would normally be at least a couple of really, really hot days, and that means over 30, over 32 or 4, degrees Celsius. But this year we haven't had even one day over 30, I think. And it's really strange, the weather is quite nice.
Well, you
It's
wait
like
for it.
20. Yeah, I know it's
Did you
coming.
hear
I know
about
it's
this
coming.
heat wave in India?
No, I haven't.
They
No,
had
I haven't.
55 or something. Oh, 52 or something.
Yeah, I met once a teacher from India, from Punjab region, that was hit really hard by these massive, you know, um, heat waves. And she told me that, on a day like that, when it's 50 or more degrees Celsius, people were going to work like, okay, you go by bus. It's 50, but you go by bus, packed
Not
with
air
people.
conditioned. Yeah, of course.
Potentially not air conditioned, yeah. So I don't know, honestly. There was once 40 degrees here in Provence, where I am. And I was basically sitting inside in an air-conditioned flat that was showing 28 degrees, even though it was air-conditioned, But the air conditioning wasn't like the best, But still, it was 28 inside. So, my brain was cooking already inside, but outside was 40. And I went outside for a second. Unbearable heat. I don't know how can people like bear 50 degrees. This is inhuman. I mean,
And when I read this in the news, I immediately remembered a book I started reading, and I didn't finish because it was so disturbing. It was so dark. By a writer, of course I don't remember his name. It's a work of fiction, but he writes a lot about this theme of global warming and generally climate change is big in his books. And this book was about it started with this.
What's the title? At least, do you remember that?
Okay,
Maybe I can find
I
it on
will
Amazon.
by the.
All right.
This guy was of course on Ezra's podcast once.
Oh,
and
I see.
And the book begins with this, I think, a week of absolutely inhumane heat wave in India, after which 10 million of people died. 10 million in like 10 days.
10 million people. Uh-huh.
It's so difficult to read, And I kept reading. I read a little bit more and then I stopped because But you know how it is with sci-fi writers. What they write,
I mean, but
sooner or later, it comes true.
I tend
Where
to be
else it would
honest.
start? Where else it would start? Of course, there, because it's already too hot in India. It's a very hot region.
And India, yeah. But there are places on Earth that are particularly prone to
Yes, but it's densely populated and it's not a particularly rich country. That's why these casualties were so high, because
so you can't,
people didn't have access to water, and air conditioners just they just stopped working. And because there were no places for them, and people just cooked. There was a lake, and they just went to this lake, and they cooked slowly in this water. And
Mhm.
by the end of, when some rescue workers got there, the lake was full of, rotting
Dead bodies.
bodies.
Oh my God.
And
Not,
only
wow,
one
Masha
one
is.
person or two people survived.
I'm not so keen on this climatic catastrophism, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
but the book.
but yeah, but the book, and the author has every right to write about it. But yeah, I think, but I'm asking myself, why am I not really so concerned about certain developments, like, these heat waves, like, other
As a
other
white heterosexual male living in the south of France, enjoying air
yeah,
conditioning and
yeah,
all other.
exactly.
Why am I not
But
so concerned? I wonder.
because, somehow I can't feel any climate change, like,
Ooh.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
but no, Masha, but and a fun fact about a fan, I have in my little office here, which, is a former bathroom. It's small with a tiny window up there, and is of course it's not air conditioned. So when it's 30 plus outside and the nights are really warm, uh, plus the all the windows in the office and my door are shut, then obviously I can imagine what's inside here. It's an oven, and I usually have something called a fun day, which means this is the day when I take out the fan out of its box. Look at this. I'm going to show to our viewers. This is my fan.
Nice
And
color.
so and yeah, and I constructed, basically. I build it, and I call this day a fun day, because right now it is dismantled, and it's waiting for the
The
heat
fun day.
wave,
Yeah.
yeah, the fun day, exactly. And then I'm basically running this here all the time. Luckily, the modern software like Zoom and Teams and others, they silence the sound of the fan, so people don't know, but I'm basically being fanned.
Fanned.
Yes. But look at this, it's we are recording this on the 3rd of June. The episode will run on the 5th, right? But still, as for now, the fun day hasn't come.
Hasn't come yet.
Yes. But coming back to, to me and my, not feeling the climate change, this
Mm.
white heterosexual male. Um, I think I'm doing it not because uh, I don't believe in the climate change, or I don't believe that, that the Earth is heading in towards some sort of a catastrophe. Perhaps it is, but I would ascribe it to some sort of uh, a mechanism of repression, right?
Natural
This is what
cycle.
it's called.
Oh,
No, no, no. I mean, because, I don't want to believe in that. It is so horrible to think about, like, this climate change, the rising sea levels, and the all the consequences that it entails. I think I'm just simply, pushing this out of my head, and I see, like, oh, look at this, it's June and it's 25 degrees, it's a normal summer. Yeah, but but you know what? And I already saw an article on Bloomberg, I think, and
where else?
one more age. Where else exactly? And one agency that, oh, heat wave is coming, and it's going to be worse than ever. We'll see, we'll see. I
We'll
I feel
definitely
that,
see.
this. We'll see, yeah. But I think it's also, this subject is also being played, by
But of course,
the
yeah.
international markets, by everything, everybody. It's politically being played, and so on. This is actually one of
Something to speak
my
about at your
most.
next conference.
Yeah, but there is this trend, of course, of this green
Bullshit.
ELT.
Ah,
I think no,
sorry.
green.
I
No,
finish. Your
but
thoughts are always wrong.
No, there is that kind of trend to use less resources, but I don't mean, materials, but like less paper, go digital. But now the problem is that if you go digital, it turns out the servers are also consuming a lot of energy. So this zooming and Zoom lessons and so on. Yeah, you don't burn fuel, petrol, meaning perhaps, but you are, of course, using the servers and the infrastructure here, and this is also extremely energy consuming. So, there's no good solution. But I remember it started a few years ago when they stopped giving us the bags and the notebooks and the free pens.
Mm.
Which is
And
a
this
pity,
year, no
And
beer.
most important, no, that beer, exactly. But I don't think it's actually linked to climate change.
Could be.
But could be, everything
You
could be.
drink more beer, you produce more, what is it, methane?
You fart more?
Well, I
You want
wanted
to
to
say
use
that?
politically correct language. You're again with your fart jokes. Yes, you
All right.
fart more and you
Can I
produce
play a
more.
sound of fart?
No, I'm not
All
give
right.
I didn't give you the permission.
All right. So, no,
You
no,
could
Masha,
link
but
anything to climate change, even beer.
one thing that I really miss are these leashes, because they used to give every conference attendant a leash, with their name or whatever, and that leash was a trophy, after the conference, you could keep it, I still keep, I think, look at it. I still keep some. Look at that, I'm going to show you. This one is from Barcelona, Innovate ELT. It has Cambridge Assessment English, on it. Sorry, whatever. And this is 2018. I was a speaker then, or I think I had a demo class or something like that. Then there is one from Switzerland, from ETAS. It was in 2019, and this one I actually stole from Paris, because they told us to return these badges back, but I didn't, and that is 2023. So last year I basically stole it. So I didn't return this badge because I say, what the hell, I need to have a trophy.
It
So
reminds me of, that I have different certificates also from Cambridge and whatever, and I collect certificates and you collect leashes. Cool.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of collect leashes. It's nice to have them. I don't know, and
Yeah.
your name on it, because it's basically I was asked by one of my students who's a business owner, very business oriented, and I get the greatest, um, let's say, business mind I have in my group of students. And I may say hi to Rafa, by the way, if he's listening. But he asked me, what do I get out of these conferences? What do you
Exactly.
get
Yeah.
out of it?
Yeah.
And the answer is simple: nothing. It's zero. I mean, the impact on, let's say, the industry is zero. The impact on my
Well, but this is your intent. You intend to make an impact.
look. No, I don't think so. The intent is
Too
like it's
naive,
just pure.
even for you.
It's pure vanity, that is pushing you there. I think it's like, let's go out, let's have a 5 minutes of
Fame,
attention,
15.
fame. Yeah, you call it. Yeah,
Then you're
and
all
then
over
that's it.
Instagram. I
Because
saw people from Ukraine posting you.
yeah, of course, I was there.
Yeah.
But that's it. Because
Nietzsche. Oh no, not Nietzsche. What are you? Martin Luther.
yeah, don't. Yeah, exactly.
Martin Luther.
It's
Martin.
MLK,
Okay.
sooner than. But now I'm thinking, Masha, it was actually thanks to my demo lesson that we met, because then it was Zhenya who had this interview, then you got in touch with me. So yeah, you are let's say,
The only
my the only
impact.
tangible effects, and this podcast maybe, and everything else, that is happening, the newsletter right now.
Hmm.
This is the only tangible effect of me traveling to conferences for the past 9 years. Because I started in 2015, it's been 9 years. It's quite interesting,
So, as a woman, I feel that, hmm, am I not enough? Why does he still keep going to these conferences? Oh, Christ.
No, but this world is really fragmented, and you can't expect. I know there might be an occasional blogger or someone who gets interested in what you have to say. But again, uh, it's not like I'm mm, having any impact on where, for example, the industry is going or what's happening, even though mm, it is an important event in our industry, like Innovate ELT, for example. It's one of the I think louder voices, not like IATEFL, for example, in the UK. Usually, but still, it is something.
Yeah,
But
and impact may be there. You just don't know about it because not all people feel like, I will contact him, but they may,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
change
You're right.
something.
You're right.
Yeah, in the way they
But
work,
it
something like
it and it leads me in a way to the upcoming European elections,
that. You
where
intending to run for some office?
oh yeah, I would like to, because it's a great
You
job, I
would?
think, to be a European MP, member of the
Really?
European Parliament. I think it's a great job, zero responsibility, great pay. I mean, come on. Because I
Okay.
don't think this institution is exactly it's like it's an institution to me that has very little impact on our lives, and yet it's huge, and we it's being mentioned in every news program each evening, that the European Parliament this, European Parliament that, European Parliament. But I don't think it's actually that impactful, because why am I thinking like this? I may be, of course, uneducated in this respect, but I see some celebrities, running for the seat in the European Parliament, like former actors or former sportsmen.
Like who? Former
I don't know
actors.
the names, but no, exactly, but there are people like that, Can't tell, maybe, but yeah, some TV personalities,
Hmm.
people like that, and I think they're going there because it's a cool job, It's like, and at the same time, zero responsibility. It's beautiful. It's
You
beautiful
would like
because,
that, yeah.
everybody would like that.
That's what you're
I
doing
mean,
right now. Zero responsibility.
I have no, no.
The pay is not good though.
Yeah, the pay is not good though. That's true.
Yeah.
But you're right. At the level of responsibility, it's like we were speaking about this many times here. It's like we can't force students, or we can't really learn the language for them. So
Of course,
yeah.
we maybe can. I know teachers personally when I worked for a school, and this was their, at the beginning of the class, they would check homework. And if
Hmm.
somebody hasn't done their homework, they would just kick them
Hmm.
out of the room for the
Hmm.
time while, they were checking homework. This is something unfathomable for like an adult person, who
Yeah.
paid for
Yeah. Yeah.
classes and you just kick him out. Sorry, I didn't do my homework. Oh my God, what kind of rapport is
Oh.
whatever? So you can force people
Yeah, you can force people. It's true,
to do anything.
but it takes also certain character. It takes
Yeah.
certain, I'm not like that simply. But yeah. All right. Anyway, Masha, yeah, that is, we've already touched like several huge things like climate change,
Touched.
politics, yes, European elections, and then
How are you
our
going to name this
industry.
episode again?
Yes, exactly. And I think our listeners may even have a problem, especially those who are joining us like in the middle of nowhere. They start listening, let's say, from the latest episode,
Yeah,
and
we
what are
used
they
to
going
have a
to think?
nice formula, but now
We used to
we're
have
just all over the
now,
place, and people,
and
what are
what
these guys about? What are they about?
yeah, and I remember our first episode in 2024, titled "Going Back to the Roots," which
Ah, we
was
we
sort of like,
made an attempt.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we try. Let's go back. Let's discuss what's the difference between this. What's the difference between that? And I guess life simply wrote a different scenario for this podcast.
It's an evolution of a podcast.
Yeah, it's called an evolution, but once again, there is a reason why we meet and discuss. Because we want to have a spontaneous conversations recorded. Ready to be
And why do
listened.
we believe you say that at the beginning before I hit the record button, you said that the students will enjoy it, and then you had a doubt that they actually will. Why do you think that spontaneous
Yeah,
conversations?
yeah, because because it's strictly connected with what we have just said. Because we sort of left this formula, because if there was like a steady formula, that okay, this week we are discussing another pair of concepts or something that where we started actually. So I think people would know what to expect from the show, what to
Hmm.
expect from the episode, and well, let's listen. They are interesting people to listen to, maybe some guests from time to time, and it goes like that. But in our case, right now it's like we don't even know where the conversation will go. So it might be slightly confusing, because what are your expectations as a listener?
So
You don't
if you
know.
agree that it might be slightly confusing, then why why are we doing this?
Because we are doing it off the cuff, recording like we go. But Masha, how about using the time now to jump back to the good old thinking out loud proper.
Another attempt at going back to
Yeah,
the roots.
yeah, going back to the roots. But these roots, I have a feeling that we are doing something very important here.
You always
It's
have
just
this feeling, yeah, I know.
it just needs to be named. Good.
Wrapped
So
in a nice
yeah,
wrapping.
yes. So were there any interesting questions in your working life lately,
Mm,
or not so many?
not off the top of my head,
All right. What
but you
about
definitely have something up your sleeve.
I may have, of course, but
If
to
you
be
don't want to
honest,
talk about the conference, because we never did actually, well, we just discussed sexy Spanish girls, never even got to the conference. Maybe
you're
there is
right.
a message you want to send.
I
No,
mean, the message. No, I don't know.
no.
I don't feel even authorized to send any message. Like, who am I?
Well, you felt
A teacher from
authorized
a
to
small
go
town.
and be a
Ah, I
plenary
did
speaker.
because they picked me. They liked my speech 1 year ago, and they picked me again this year. So yeah, yeah, of course, and I like it too. I'm a stage animal. I like the microphone.
Didn't look like it. You were like a Terminator. Maybe you were hungover because you spoke a little bit too slow.
I was, I was, but it's funny because I didn't drink a lot, but I did have a headache. It's true. I never had a headache, but it wasn't that big, you know. No, I was speaking slowly because I was recovering the speech from my memory.
Okay.
You know, it's so that's the effect. You know, it's you can't unless you really prepare, like I know you spend many hours, you know. But I saw other people actually are reading stuff from
Wait, they don't
their
give you
notes.
this, they don't give you this screen in front of you like what they do at
No,
TED
no,
Talks.
no,
Oh, come on.
no,
It's a
not
very
at all.
cheap
Come on,
conference then.
it is.
Oh,
No, come on, Masha. You know,
you should go into a
but
TED Talk.
I should maybe go to TED. I wonder if there are any. What are the procedures? But
Procedure,
honestly,
just apply and that's it.
yes. But I don't like to read stuff from the paper, for example, and that's why I prefer to even struggle a bit, and search my memory than
To
uh,
memorize a 15-minute speech. Oh my God.
wasn't it's not like you don't memorize it, you just know what's next. It's not the
So you're
same
like
because
ChatGPT. You know what's next.
yeah, exactly, pretty much. I know what I want to talk about because there is the original text of it, written. It is written first, but then of course writing and speaking are two different things. And
As we
oh,
well
that
know.
as we well know. The writing only serves as some sort of a backup, some kind of a backbone, where there is some logic, at least, semblance of it, and so you go step by step, from this to that, and from that to this, and then this is what I learned. I just learned the initial, how to say that, just the initial phrase maybe of a paragraph that is about something, and then I just go. Of course, I may, since I read the text many times over and over, so I probably follow the text, but it's not like I memorized the text word for word. Not at all. It's like,
Wow.
it's just, yeah. And then, and for example, something like the ending. Yes, the ending is not spontaneous, right? It's more or less
You must
prepared.
finish strong. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah. But other things, they're just, I know exactly how the text went, so I know what's in each paragraph, so to say. So it's not so bad. However, you could do it better, of course. You could. I imagine, if I actually learned the text by heart, there would be a different rhythm to it. There would be a different, yeah, different feelings to it.
So I think
Yeah.
it's it just invites the question of stress and big audience. What do you say?
Mm,
The bigger the
what,
audience is, the stress bigger?
yeah, good question. I don't know, honestly. It matters. I think it matters. I have never spoken in front of really thousands, yeah,
How
to
many
tell you
people were
exactly.
there at the conference?
I don't know, maybe 100 something,
Hundreds. Oh
130,
my God.
60, I don't know.
It's
Yes,
huge.
but it's huge, but then again, the venue is also quite big, so it doesn't feel like, it would be totally different if that was in the room, like
Mm.
uh, in a lecture room, for example. But it's different when it's outside in the garden, and I believe that there were also some latecomers, so it wasn't like, everybody was there.
So
But
you were not terrified at all.
I wasn't, and I liked, in fact, the fact that my stress management got better, because last year I was definitely much more stressed out. This year I wasn't so much. Uh, and by the way, the whole atmosphere of Innovate ELT is great because it's like a home party. It's like, okay, so I'll take a mic, and I can say something, and then you pass it over to someone else. No one's afraid to speak. No one's, and it feels like it used to be more official with people standing on top, above everyone else and so on. And now you just walk a few steps of that garden stairs, and then you speak from there, which almost feels like you are among the people. It's just that you have the mic. So it is great, from that
Hmm.
point of view. The conference is really friendly. It's really intimate. It's not like it's not like addressing, I don't know, some masses. So yeah, it's great. But Masha, you wanted probably, yes, we never talked about the conference. I know there are some teachers that are probably disappointed by our previous episode, like these sexy girls, conversation but I think it was relevant, to the subject, relevant to this solitude and everything that I was talking about. I listened partially to the last episode, and I think we did a good job, at merging or applying, what I said into real life. Except it takes, of course, first the knowledge about what I was talking about. People don't know about this, and then it takes also some kind of your own reflections and so on. So I don't know, the effect could have been bizarre.
But what about other people? Did you listen to other people, or you
Yes, I
just
did.
drank all the time? Okay.
No, it's not like they don't serve beer all the time. It's only in the evening that they,
Okay, okay,
suddenly,
it's a joke.
that it's not
And
like you're,
so did
and
was something that you found really interesting?
yeah, there were a couple of presentations for sure that were memorable, um,
Were they all
but
about AI?
a lot of them, yes. But to be honest, we are not really, I mean, as teachers, right? We are not really mm, on the forefront of this whole thing. We are rather followers. There is this wave that is actually ongoing. I don't know how to say that. It's and we are somewhere behind, few steps behind. And we just so basically what I heard about AI there at the conference was more like a recap of what I already know, of what is already circulating in the space. So I mean, I'm talking about the risks versus advantages or chances, of that technology. This kind of more descriptive. It was more like stating um, what is, and not sort of trying to predict what might be, right?
Hmm.
So I think it was generally the presenters who approached the AI subject were on the safe side. They I was, I think, the riskiest one, the one who sort of tried to go forward, and to see
So
things
you're the only
developing.
one with the vision,
I don't want to say that, because
visionary.
yeah, but my presentation, according to me, of course, it's my personal point of view, was, yeah, the most, let's say, visionary, in the sense that it was capturing what's happening right now in a wider context of this cultural context of solitude, was my starting point. And it was potentially showing the way forward. That is, my call to transform English language teaching and learning into something that I would call language teaching and learning. So I am skeptical about the future of English language learning and teaching. English, as as we know, as a grammar, as some sort of very very technical aspect of the language. I think it's not like the need will disappear, but it will be outsourced in really in a great deal to apps, tech, and so on. Or in some sort of an extreme case scenario, the language barrier will be abolished. by technology, right? By simultaneous translations that are very, very good. But then again, it will not cause the language to disappear or be unimportant. Language will be forever important because we are what language animals, right? Like Taylor said. So I think, and language is universal. English may not be so. Of course, I may be overreacting because I saw some piece of technology that was performing very well in a narrow domain, but I think they really these technologies are powerful, when it comes to languages and the disruption of the linguistic barrier. They are really
But
good
the
at this.
but the other speakers, they state what is and what is it that they basically talk about how you can use AI in your classroom or what?
There were presentations like that. However, I didn't attend them. There was some kind of a summary of chances and risks of this technology. And like I said, it was rather mm, capturing what is right now, and I didn't find it very inspiring. It was rather like consolidating the knowledge that we already have,
Hmm.
and adding some some remarks here and there. But I think we could have more uh, brain power devoted to exploring the future of the profession, not the current. Because next year the tech will be different, more advanced, or there will be more better, or I don't know, more innovative tools, and we're gonna have another conference like, oh, look at that, it's now we don't do like this, we go like that. But again, it's
Basically
even though the name of
reacting, yeah, no, to.
reactive, yeah. So I remember Innovate ELT had this kind of promise in it that we are exploring the future of our profession, but it seems more like we are exploring the today of our profession. It's still modern, it's today, but it feels, given how fast technology is progressing, it feels like we are one or two steps behind the trend. So,
Mhm.
but this is not an argument against the conference, which is great, really, and especially the fact that it is really oriented on networking and so on. This is fantastic about the conference. But content-wise, but of course, it's super difficult to even try and predict what's going to happen. But hearing more visionary speakers would be, I think, quite nice, because you may have different ideas, and then what will come out of it? What will the future actually look like? It's a different story, but just exploring stuff.
Were there any big names?
Big names this year. Well, I don't know. There weren't like any, I think, superstars.
Mhm.
It was more like Barcelona, mm, kind of, because there is, Innovate ELT has their own base of hardcore goers.
Mhm.
I think I'm a part of that, because this is really one of the very, very few conferences I'm attending. But no, we didn't have any, Scott Turnberries or people like that, which is a pity, because I think they always bring exactly this kind of more visionary stuff. I remember Scott Turnberry speaking about the need for ELT to move towards the caring profession more than it is right now, because this is where you can survive, right, in the caring professions, because caring professions will not be so easily taken by technology. And I think it was a great speech by him. I can't remember which year was it, but it was a good few years ago. Or was it? I don't know. I don't know exactly when. But when he was at Innovate ELT, he had this great speech there that ELT should find a way towards caring professions, and it was great, it was great. I think it's still valid, a few years after, and it was before, ChatGPT and all that.
Mm.
So you see that it was relevant, and it's still relevant, and we have to keep looking for the ways towards the caring profession. Was also my speech was also kind of reflecting this, this movement towards being teaching language that is, towards treating language as a space where you constitute, where you realize yourself, not necessarily where you communicate just with others,
Maybe he's just
but
tired of, people not listening to him. Because
no, I don't think so. I
his
mean,
dogma is how old? He
well,
introduced it
it's
in
pretty old.
2000.
There was an anniversary. His teaching method, for those who don't know, it's about teaching without any materials, but just focusing on the so-called emergent language that is human to human. It's very human, actually. This way of teaching, right? Human to human exchanges, and the focus on whatever is going to surface. Yeah, there was an anniversary, I think, of the publishing of his article together with Luke Meddings, I think. And then yeah, there was some buzz around Dogme. But what did you want to say, Masha? He's tired that Dogme hasn't yet dominated the world.
Yes.
I don't think so. He's not that kind of person, I guess. Because what is it for him in it? I mean,
No, but I mean, not for him, but if you are so passionate about this profession, then
mhm.
if you see what it's turning into,
No, but what is it turning into, according to you?
well, into, this McNuggets teaching. And maybe 10 years ago you could justify this, but right now you see that you're
Mhm.
heading into an, abyss. You're
Dead
digging
end.
your
Yeah,
own
yeah, yeah.
grave, and people are
Yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
not
It's a
waking up to
road.
it. So I don't
Yeah, this
know.
is a road to nowhere, right?
You might feel a
This
little
sort of.
bit bitter, that you see, guys. I've been telling you this all
But
this time.
He schooled. I know a lot of teachers. And a lot of them are really devoted dogme
Yeah, and
teachers.
he has a course, how to
He
teach
has a course how
dogme
to
stuff.
do it, and I think it's a powerful movement. And those who followed him are really happy. Happy not only because of the effects of the teaching, but also happy in their life because it's a great way to teach. This is really what gives satisfaction in this profession. This kind of contact, direct contact, not mediated by some sort of text from a course book or whatever, some tape recording, but real, authentic communication. And there's only one step from dogme to even a more enriching experience of spending time with other people. It's great. I think it's
And
great.
this step is
Well, and the step is because Thornbury never gave any. I mean, he gave some ideas, what you could be talking about and so on. But I think you can take this methodology further, and do something. Sorry, I don't want to again,
to advertise
sound
your
like.
method, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to say that, I am the. But I used to think about what we are doing, like asking specific questions that are, let's say, kind of intellectual, but not overly intellectual. They are not really, um,
They
in
don't
my
require any
opinion.
expertise in any
Yeah, they
particular.
don't require
Yeah.
expertise exactly. They are really carefully crafted questions, And I think that if you have an arsenal of such questions, then you can actually turn language classes into a beautiful, beautiful learning environment. And it's not just about language, because there's always, certain emphasis on, um, mm, let's say I don't want that to sound strange, but this moral aspect, moral in the sense that you have to make a choice, either left or right. You pick something and then you stick to it, or you don't, or you change your mind in the middle. But there is a certain responsibility, Masha, you have to, I think, admit that we are placing on the shoulders of our learners. There's some responsibility. If I ask what's the difference between a shy person and a coward, you have to sort of explain cowardice. And cowardice in itself is a concept that requires some sort of moral judgment. The cowardice is bad, Why is it bad? And why cowards are actually uh, mm, not really, mm, positive. Uh, Cowardice is not a positive feature. Shyness is totally different. It's sort of okay to be shy, right? It's not so much okay to be a coward. Why not? And then you place basically certain by asking this seemingly um, you know
Stupid.
not stupid. Come on, but this seemingly neutral question, you
Come
place a
on,
huge responsibility
you've
on.
never got this response. Like, what kind of question is that? What are you asking me?
Not really. I mean,
No,
because the question is so somehow self-understood. There's not much, it's not like, oh, I don't understand. No, you understand.
no, you understand, but
What does it mean?
it's a different attitude. Like, don't you know it? Do I really need to explain it to you? Everybody knows it.
I haven't met with that kind of
Oh,
approach, to
you're
be
lucky.
honest. It's always like, hey, this is interesting, it's interesting even in my native language. And then, of course, it seems to be super difficult, but we go step by step. We define this, define that, find some illustrations. I wanted to say that this is also dogme teaching, but with a little twist, with a little
Task-based.
meaning. Yeah, because dogme could also be like, hey, what's the weather like, or what did you see last week, on TV or something like that. Everything could be turned into a dogme class, no matter which tiny little, like even the arrangement of the tables in the classroom, right? It could be also used as a pretext for some production, right? But we are taking that to another level with asking questions that honestly place very gently, but they place responsibility on people's shoulders. And this responsibility, I am of the opinion that this responsibility is teaching. This is where real teaching takes place, because you realize some things. You open certain, points of view that you haven't reached before. It
We
takes you
didn't
to
even know you
places that,
have.
yeah, exactly. I think it's great. I think it's great, and yeah.
I know you think it's great.
No, I like it. I like it. I like it. But to be honest, it goes a little bit beyond just English learning, and teaching. It goes a little bit beyond, because it's more about the world. It's more about us, who we are, and where we are, what we think, and so on. And just to finish off, Masha, because we have to go and teach. But I've had some classes with teenagers lately, especially one teenager here that I'm teaching, let's say, face to face. It's really amazing, how these young people, they are right now a little bit overwhelmed with social media. They consume a lot. They consume a lot, really. They spend a lot of time on social media, but they spend very little time producing, and I mean voicing their opinions. And they are not even sure if these are their opinions, and that results in some sort of extreme shyness, in some kind of extreme lack of self-certainty, because it's like, I don't know really, it's like, but you have to learn courage. I know it sounds weird, but you have to learn it, so you take the responsibility. This is what I think, look, and it makes sense because this, because that, because blah blah, and this is what I think. And if you don't know what you think, then you at least explore, you tried. I think it's going to be a huge challenge in the future with the young generations raised on social media, basically, raised by social media, to develop this kind of self-certainty, to be sure of where you stand and what you want and who you are. I think it's going to be a huge thing. And I think language is going to be very, very helpful here. This is where this caring profession enters the picture. Language
And for
is a
this,
caring
you need
profession.
another person, not
Not AI, of course, not a computer. And I think this is, how I see the future of our profession. This is the vision. Of course, I may be wrong, but something is telling me, that I'm not far from the truth. That yes, we are having certain problems, and yes, language can address them, can help mitigate the effects. So that's it. That was my message. And again, Masha, I didn't say a lot about the conference. Maybe next episode, the third episode about Innovate ELT. Why not?
why not? So
Thanks
this
for
is where
asking.
we
And
end.
yes, and for our listeners, thanks for listening. Thanks for following us, our newsletter. Don't forget that you can also support us financially by buying us beer, like because I didn't have enough beer. And yeah, that's it from us this week. Thanks a lot. Share your comments, maybe your ideas on the future of the language teaching. And
Or
Masha,
your
it's
ideas
over.
on the future of this podcast if you don't want to continue
Exactly,
listening to
exactly.
our
And yeah,
blabbing
Masha,
about
and
nothing.
we have to come back one day to the good old thinking out loud to show people how our classes actually look like.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, there
we
are
should.
plenty of episodes in the archives. You can revisit them. They are
Plenty,
titled like,
plenty.
yes. All right.
So this was
Masha, thanks a lot.
another,
It was a pleasure.
as always, it was a pleasure. As always, this is another episode of the Thinking Out Loud podcast. Thank you, everyone. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.